And we are live. Welcome to Beyond the Pendulum. This is episode 13. We were with you last week. I had to cut it a little short, mainly due to me feeling like shit and getting a rhinovirus or one of those viruses that affects your nose. Um, anyway, so yeah, a lot happened today. I was speaking about the um, last show about how the ODNI report that was supposed to come out in October of 2022 just came out on today. The official UAP report, where the was it unidentified aerial phenomenon. Now they have UAP, UAV, but we used to call them UFOs back in the not too long ago. I mean, up until recently, actually, in the last 5 years, they started reclassifying all of these names. But yeah, the public was allowed to view the unclassified version. There is, I've heard, there was a classified version. Of course, the public's never going to get their little hands on it. And there are a few conclusions that we've come to based on this report. One, that UAPs are out of well, they said they had a lot of reports, and I think they're underreporting what they actually have. But a significant amount of them were unidentified, and the ones that were unidentified did display unusual movement, not known to what we would call a traditional aircraft. That is some ambiguous verbiage that they use there. Some more things that have happened is that not a hell of a lot. Other than that, I mean, it was kind of unambiguous. A lot of people from the UFO Twitter were a little disappointed, but hey, these people have been lying to us for almost 75 years or so, or plus or minus a few years. I can't do the math up until 45, up until now in my head, but it's around there. I really didn't expect anything less. I think this is progress, not perfection. This is a work in progress. But now, I come from I came from the era where, if you talked about this kind of shit, you were crazy and a nut, and the government said that you were crazy and a nut. But when I was a kid, I was listening to Art Bell, and everybody was calling me crazy forever. And now people are just not even calling me crazy. They just they aren't saying anything anymore. But I've come to the same conclusion. Jeremy Corbell and others have said is that there's no denying that UAPs are real. That there are craft that are in our airspace that do display aeronautics, and they can do things that we are not physically capable of doing with our own technology. What we don't know is who they are, where they come from, and why are they here. That's what I mean. Officially, unofficially, we kind of do. We kind of have a picture based on what others have said, but it's some of it's a little hearsay, and some of it's a little more than hearsay. Um, how should I even I don't know. Did any of you guys read the ODNI UAP report?
No, I haven't seen that. No, I'm not
Uh,
even, well, do the acronym there. I'm not even sure what that is.
okay, so let me pull it up. So this is the Office of the Director of National Intelligence report. They're supposed to. I think it was determined they're supposed to have a quarterly. So they're supposed to have like four of these a year. This was something that happened shortly after the Navy Pentagon videos started dropping. It's really kind of unambiguous. It really doesn't go into any detail about what these are or any specific event. It's just, what they say 26 characterizes unmanned or UAS, unmanned aircraft systems or UAS system entities. 163 characterizes balloon or balloon-like entities. Six were attributed to clutter, can be unambiguous. But then we have 171 uncharacterized and unattributed UAP reports. So there's a significant amount of reports which they don't have answers for. About half. A little less than half, but close. That's kind of what we get on here, and that they are deemed a threat to the FAA and in our airspace. But other than that, that's pretty much all that we got out of it. A lot of people on UFO Twitter were kind of pissed. But I don't. What do they expect? They've been lying to us for years. What do they expect? Another UFO video?
The truth.
The truth.
Yeah.
Well, the government, the DoD has been saying that, and that you can't handle the truth. Remember, Jimmy Carter was supposed to get down to the bottom of the UFO stuff, and then he shut the hell up.
Yeah, that's odd because he saw a UFO. So did Reagan. I want to say there's another president in there. So you have that hope that actually somebody that saw something is going to do something, but they don't.
Yeah, exactly. So and everybody, even at the highest level of office, besides this, for some weird reason, this Congress has the DoD and the Pentagon by the cojones for some weird reason, and I think it has to do with we have their tiger's paw. We have the funding. That's the big money. Is money, 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 money. Money has them by the balls, And if they don't get the proper funding, which Mad Mom sent in the what was it? God.
In the general track, the fiscal year budget. And
the fiscal year budget stuff, and there was a lot of there was also a lot of new policies that would go into effect that were in there, but a lot of it revolved around the budget, the couple $1 trillion that they were going to spend, and the DoD and the Pentagon and all the other intelligence agencies and are this is their bread and butter, and if they by now, according to Congress, they have to inform the public on some level on what's out there. But what they just gave us was a bunch of garbage. I didn't expect anything less, but I mean, it's gonna take me being coming from the activist world. It's going to take a lot more than waiting for the government to say what's really going on. It's really going to take a lot more activism, a lot more Jeremy Corbell's, a lot more George Knapp's, a lot more investigative journalists who are doing actions, not complaining, like UFO Twitter is doing right now, and getting the FOIA requests. And, hard hitting up people, on the inside. If they want to release it, they want to release it. So what? It's, the government, by all means, most governments all around the world have it backwards. They're supposed to be representative of the people, not ruling the people. And it's our money, not theirs. It is public money. So, we in essence, we do have the right to know where our tax dollars are being spent. And to be honest, there has been some change in the overclassification of these things that they're deeming these things that before it was all top secret. And now the DoD did try and strike back and label anything of the try and label anything of this nature top secret. But then now they have to go through the proper steps and procedures. There is a new report reporting thing. I think it's called they're now calling it range fowler, which is which is like a UFO that's flying over military airspace or or a military vehicle, and there's a new report form that's going on. So there are some changes that are going there. Officially, they're telling soldiers to report them. Unofficially, I think that they're telling them to shut the fuck up at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think you're ever going to get, because the government looks at this as a crack in the armor, or something they can't explain that looks like it usurps their authority. They don't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
Now,
that's basically
they can't deny that people are seeing things because so much of it is going on, and they can BS the reports on that. But their bigger concern is we lose control of the folks, because if we ever look like we're not in charge, that's what they can't afford right there.
Well,
yeah.
yeah, that, and, threats to the homeland.
Well,
Yeah.
I think the biggest fear of the United States government is that people are going to start realizing that we're not, now, beyond the shadow of a doubt, I believe a significant portion of these things are non-terrestrial, and if that's the case, then why the fuck are we dividing the world into these little pockets when we should be looking at it as people of Earth? Like it might be us against them, not us against the government. You always hear about these, reports where they're just picking up and swooping people, like Travis Walton and others, and cows and whatever, chopping them up, dropping them for some unknown reason. I mean, and then the weird part is we're not only seeing this in our airspace, we're also seeing these things under the water. Believe it or not, there's been a significant amount of these things that have been tracked underwater, going different places. You hear it from the Navy and you hear it from the Air Force.
How about those ones that fly into the volcano in Mexico?
Exactly. These things are going in. Where are these things? They're calling them all medium vehicles, because these things are basically defying any, they're in the air, they're in the water, they're going in volcanoes. Shit.
So most of them are probably drones. Oh,
That has been thrown around. Actually, they believe the Tic Tacs are the drones, mainly due to their sheer size. That doesn't necessarily throw out alien life, but some of these have been deemed the size of like ping pong balls, or slightly almost as big as a basketball. It
I'll,
does.
yeah, I'll have to dig that video out of that one that was like over my house like a couple times last summer or whatever, and was like cloaking itself and then uncloaking itself or whatever. You guys remember me telling about that? And like a whole group of friends was outside. I got it on film, and it filmed actually pretty decently. I need to dig it up.
Well, there's actually some science behind that. Based on what Bob Lazar said that these things were, or at least the sport model that he was working on. There is some physics there that would explain the cloaking part, mainly due if they are using a technology that is bending the space around them, essentially by creating a gravitational wave by a nuclear reaction. If they're able to do that, then they are essentially bending space around them. Therefore, light will bend around it. Therefore, the object may appear invisible, even though it's still there. The light is just bending around it. You guys catch me on that or no?
Yeah, you're saying it's like a black hole, a warping space effect.
Exactly. Similar to why we can see stars behind the sun. Yes. Yeah, exactly. And there are other effects that that we've seen, with these UAPs where they look like they're bouncing like ping pong balls, and that might be because of the distortion, according to Bob. These things have at least three or four. What do they call? You call it, what do you call it? Delta and Omicron formation, where these things had different. The device that pulls it toward, or that, I don't even know what the correct word is.
The propulsionary
The propulsion
technology
system, the propulsion system. Yeah. They have three or four of these things that move around, that move the ship into different ways the ship moves, and essentially these things fly belly first wherever they're going, pulling itself. But the part where it's vibrating might be because it's bending the space around it improperly, and it might be a distortion effect. The one weird thing that Bob said that happened, that I even caught on to, which he thought was bizarre, was how a UHF military channel on the audio that was broadcasted via radio was able to be heard even with a gravitational distortion going on, which I don't understand. You normally, if you're hearing if you had a gravitational distortion, that would really mess up the transmission, but apparently it didn't. I don't know.
Sorry, I'm like sneezing like crazy off and on, so I keep having to mute. I don't know a whole lot about, what I mean, like the sound part of the technology and stuff, but I mean, logically that makes sense. So I wonder, so how did they transmit through that frequency then? How does that work?
It's unknown physics at this part. I mean, physics tells us that it would interrupt the transmission, or severely dilate, or almost make the signal unusable. But for some weird reason, a signal was able to be transmitted out of this craft. Not the physics expert. I know quite a bit about physics, but I know that. If gravity can mess around with light, then it should mess around with radio transmissions.
Well, yeah, that part's true. Yeah, you usually see more interference around these things than anything. They used to shut off I don't know about the new cars, but I think it'd be the same. You're shutting off the old cars when they close. They used to be one of the effects. You never really hear about that anymore.
Oh yeah, speaking of the DoD report, you guys just made me remember. There was one part of the report that said that the UAPs were they did not the witnesses or the UAPs were not harmful physically to life forms, according to them, but there's significant documentation, even in some of the stuff that is leaked in the past, that these devices have, and in the past have been known to give people radiation burns. Even at the some of the RAF, the Royal Air Force encounters, and there's still an ongoing case with one of the RAF officers that I believe that famous incident that happened in somewhere in the UK. One of the guys.
Yeah, I vaguely know what you're talking about.
Yeah, one of the guys. Yeah, one of the guys.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, one of those guys is still trying to get his medical benefits or something, because he's been battling. He basically was battling cancer because of that shit. Yeah, so they can't tell you that these things don't cause problems to your health. I mean, if it's got a nuclear power power source. Even Travis Walton, who got fucked the hell up. Even he. I think there was some evidence that even I think he was exposed to some form of radiation. I think.
I mean, I don't know how you couldn't be. And I mean, when we're talking about like the abductees and stuff like that, well, if they've done any kind of, actual, like, I don't know, body samples when they return, we would of course see effects in biological makeup. Like, you know what I mean? The Earth's magnetic shield protects us from cosmic rays. So once you travel so far up in the atmosphere, you've got a lot of stuff coming at you. So. Just saying. But Elon launched his car or something, so I don't know.
Yeah, the aliens are probably looking at us like, what the fuck they put in space? What the fuck is that?
Dead hookers and crappy cars. Great. Oh.
Dead hookers and crack cars.
That would be a UFO to a UFO. They wouldn't know what the hell that is. Throw them off.
Yeah, there's just too much going on to the point where, like, it's like, how much more can the public take? And, before, when I thought, do you guys remember when Storm Area 51 happened? When they were gonna storm Area 51, and then they didn't do it. It's gonna take a lot more of those kind of stunts to get this ball rolling,
Yeah, it was just two people. I think one of them was a porn star that broke the gate, went over the line, right? I mean, it was pretty disappointing.
Wasn't Stormy Daniels? Wasn't Stormy Daniels there or something?
I don't know. I personally, I felt like it was a psyop.
Riley Reid.
Oh, Riley Reid, yeah.
Not that I know anything about porn stars.
Yeah, right. Oh, God. Yeah, she's pretty famous.
Okay, I was about to be like, who's that? But
yeah, you see her face is a meme all over the place.
Oh, God. That's not stuff I like to click on, so it doesn't surprise me that I don't know who you're talking about, but lols, I guess, yeah. Storm Area 51 was a psyop for sure.
Yeah, but like how much of a national security is it if it isn't ours? They're definitely not communicating to our military officially. So what's with this is national intelligence shit? Like, it ain't ours. It's not our technology, and they're doing whatever the fuck they want. Like we're little ants,
Well, it's like royal pedophilia being national security. Anything that makes them look bad is national security. We're just not going to talk about it.
Energized MAGA Republicans, national security.
National security.
Yeah. Greatest
Hunter
threat
Biden.
To the homeland. Yeah. Hunter Biden, national security.
Hunter Biden's
coronavirus.
Laptop. Yeah, national security.
National security. Oh, yeah, fuck yeah. Free speech. Oh, national security. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's dangerous. We don't know.
It's dangerous.
It's weird. It's like weird. All of those notches that they use to control us are like are literally kind of cracking at the seams. We had the UAP leaks. We had legit UFO stuff. All of the weird psychedelics that they were banning in the 60s and 70s with the what was it, the controlled substance ban, because people were starting to think differently and all of that shit, and they didn't like it. Well, all that's starting to come down, and they're starting to legalize it, or decriminalize it. It's kind of like it's almost like society is going forward and the government's going backwards,
Well, and I mean, that all boils down to, at least for the United States wise, like states and the people that are in their states and what they're doing and not doing as far as it comes to their elected officials. Like, I don't even vote, but bet you believe, like, I have a very good working relationship with many of the elected officials that the people in the state that I live in vote for. You know what I'm saying? Because when I don't like something, I do something about it. So That's kind of what you have to do for real. I mean,
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to take, and it's going to take a lot more than FOIA requests because now they're getting kind of willy nilly about the FOIA requests. Like if you don't know the specific event, the date, and what you're looking for, you're not going to get the files.
hell no, because the backlog that they have of stuff that they haven't even processed yet is so freaking insane. Like, get serious. Get so serious. Julian's still rotting in Belmarsh. Like all the farmers in Netherlands are still like shut down. Nobody's talking about that. Like, they want to talk about these Twitter files that are screenshots. Meanwhile, back at the
I know
ranch,
this is
like, a couple.
it's
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I'm like, here's the shit that got, you know what I'm saying, read into the record at the Supreme Court because the state of Missouri and Louisiana are not fucking around with these federal officials. I don't know if we're supposed to say the F word on air. I'm sorry.
yeah you can
I'm,
on YouTube.
well, you never know. Like, hate to get another channel banned because I'm moody and tired, but yeah.
Yeah, here they are worried about fucking the president's, classified documents, which are probably something. We have the FBI Twitter files, which is kind of okay, and then we have more verification that we're not alone and that our airspace is being invaded by foreign vehicles. Nobody cares.
No, they want Trump's tax records.
It's like the biggest discovery of the 21st century, and nobody gives a shit. It's almost hilarious. We're not alone, and we know it. Oh God.
Yeah. To me, I mean that idea has kind of, well, it hasn't run its course. It's like it's become mainstream. When you see the amount of stars that are out there and the number of planets and all, and then to think you're alone, it just doesn't wash anymore. I mean, I think people intrinsically know there's something out there, wherever that is. That there has to be. We're not the only ones. That's what I'm saying. So that idea is pretty much in place now. It has to be. So whatever the government says, to try to counter that, it's just not going to work.
Oh yeah, and some of these programs that they set up are doomed to fail. Like the new NASA budget that they gave it like $250,000 budget, or like $500,000, whatever, to investigate UFOs. Or they said that they would, where they don't have access to classified materials. Okay, that's doomed to fail, and they're only going to go off of data and footage and stuff that they have that are publicly available. And here I am, like thinking, well, this is why NASA will say that there is no unidentified aerial vehicles in our airspace. Even though we've had radar blips which have been explained away by the FAA that it's water traveling at 17,000 miles an hour, 80,000 feet up in the sky. I've heard that excuse before.
Yeah, but you once you see satellites and get their speeds and everything, their normal look. I mean, you know when it's something else. When it's not a satellite. When it's not an airplane. You know when it's not a helicopter. All that stuff has been around long enough now. Everybody knows what it looks like. You don't have to be in the fucking military to be able to identify fucking aircraft.
Well, not only that, but Elon Musk has that wonderful fucking thing that he developed for all his Starlink satellites called Heavens Above, and you can see everything that's in the sky, everything that has to go through the FAA regulations, and all the Starlink satellites and radio satellites, and even, the International Space Stations and the planets, and just everything that flies around is allegedly on that app. Just saying.
Yeah.
It works pretty good. You can adjust the visibility, you know what I mean? Check stuff in the telescope and then put it on the star map thing, but check it back to the digital log. It's a pretty handy little tool. I fucking can't stand Elon Musk, but I'm just saying, like, that is a pretty
I can't either.
tool.
Because of him, Twitter's gonna fall to pieces. It's directly his fault.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I would go that far. I would just say that, like everybody wants to act like fucking he's some free speech absolutist and he won't even fucking give us his opinion on Julian's persecution because he's the largest contractor for the Department of Defense. So, like, the largest military contractor for the Department of Defense. We'll let that sink in for everybody who thinks he's here to save fucking free speech.
No, he's not. Yeah, yeah, he's not here to. He's not here to save free speech or anything. He's just here. He's just here for the dog and pony show and getting poor in the process. He literally,
Yeah, I haven't been
he
on.
literally devalued his net worth by half.
I was listening to something the other day. Go ahead, Alamo. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, but so why bring up all this Twitter files? I mean, if you're,
Because because
you're on.
most of them are being like read into court record because of subpoenas and shit. You know what I mean? A lot of high up officials have been deposed because of ongoing lawsuits. So since that stuff's getting put out in the public's eye via court record, they're trying to turn it into, oh, here, pay attention to this, because people are stupid, you guys.
I mean, the only thing the Twitter files spoke to me was that the government tries to interfere on social media. Yeah, that's nothing big. It's stuff like that's been going on since the beginning of time. Not like what I mean, but the suppression of information, the silencing of the voice. That's been going on forever.
But that's a crime.
Yeah, it is a crime.
It's kind of a big fucking deal. And since some people know how the internet works, and Vault 7 kind of released every freaking thing. Like, they can't stop certain things from happening, is what I'll leave that at before I say too much live on the air.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, I
don't know how much longer I can stay either. I gotta get up really, really early, but I mean.
Oh yeah, I'm only gonna go for an hour. Yeah, it's like another half an hour. Yeah, I was hoping.
I wish that the public release that they did today would have been, like some more information than what it really was. But
yeah, me too.
I find out what happened to JFK, man, in '63. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's like, what's everybody's dead that had anything to do with that I know of.
I mean, they released like 20,000 more files, but they haven't released like the juicy 20%.
No, and just like all this stuff that we're talking about now, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, sure, it'll get released, but by the time it gets released, like we'll all be dead. Like that's the way that game goes. We all know that. I mean, shit.
Yeah, so you have an incident like that directly affects the country and the people need to know, and yet you can't find out. I mean, right there, that tells you you've been overthrown. That's what it tells me. Whoever the people are that did it don't want you to know, and so you don't get to see it. I mean, otherwise, it would be out there.
Yeah.
And then to continue to hide it. What are we 40? 60 something years, almost 60 years later. It's just ridiculous.
Oh yeah, for real. It's getting ridiculous. Yeah.
Because so much of it is already out. I mean, it's just like the things they don't want to say or have already been proven, pretty much to a pretty good extent. So it's like, so what are you waiting for?
Yeah, I hate to say it, but you might almost have to fight fire with fire. You might actually have to get them by the balls or get somebody elected in that will threaten their hanky panky fucking budgeting even more unless they get their shit passed. But that's the same old dog and pony show. I guess I don't know. I really don't know the right strategy for them to open up other than get them by the balls by the funding or the money. But then you're buying into the same loop that started this whole shit before.
You know, they're basically, honestly, the government is pretty cowardly. When you look at how they act, the wanting to always hide something, they don't want to talk about things. They're fearful. It's like a little kid who's been, scared, by watching a midnight movie or something. It's ridiculous. That's why they don't have the balls to do anything, because they're scared.
Yeah.
When you have all the power in your hand, if you if you're in the Congress and you actually, do have the ability to vote for the money and so forth. The power is in your hands, but if you're just scared, you're giving it all away.
Yeah, basically.
So you just be scared of COVID, scared of the UFOs, scared of the Ukraine, scared of, hey, if you're in the Netherlands, you're scared of, was it, nitrogen now. Shit, it's not even carbon anymore.
What, are they scared of nitrogen?
Yeah, well, that's why they're getting rid of the fertilizers.
What?
You kind of,
what?
Yeah, they shifted elements on you, man. You missed it.
Because nitrogen, we breathe nitrogen. in actually significant amount of the air we breathe is nitrogen.
Yeah, plants love it too.
It's actually, air is like 60% nitrogen, 20% argon, and the rest is
78, 80% roughly.
Yeah, the oxygen that we breathe is very low. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but fertilizer has nitrogen, and that's now a problem.
It's not a greenhouse gas, though. What the?
It's for the Earth.
God.
Climate change. Just make it up.
Damn it! Now they'll say there's too much hydrogen. Fuck you.
Man, we need to get you fearful.
Oh God.
Yeah, we'll have to blow up the sun because there's too much hydrogen.
Well, I do agree that there's been some evidence now. Like I did see a report that the ozone layer that's at the South Pole now is healing, and that's directly related to the CFC bands. That's something that we've been able to see that did get stuff. Releasing chlorofluorocarbons does kill the ozone layer, and now that they've been almost pretty much banned, we've been seeing it's about I think they said 2% a year improvement. Well, that's something.
I've always wondered about that because did we really have any data from before? We only started sending those satellites up in the late 70s, let's say 60s, probably in the early to late 70s by the time we were getting those kind of satellites up there. So we didn't have any previous data to really show anything, whether any of that was really true. You go up there and you take measurements and, we got an ozone hole. Well, was it there before? How long?
There's all sorts of weird stuff.
We didn't have enough previous data to even know whether, did we do that or not? We probably did, but
there's all sorts of weird stuff that we know now, like how there's actually radiation that gets released from the South Pole, and they're not exactly sure what's causing it. And there's all sorts of weird stuff that they've been finding out. The better tech's been getting,
Yeah, the more info you get, and plus all the undersea stuff. Think all about those hydrothermal vents and all that. We didn't know that till fairly recently.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm always a little skeptical of things, but
yeah.
Don't be a threat to your government. Don't talk too loud. Don't find out the wrong things. Don't say too much. Yeah,
that's what I'm just saying is that I think that the The way UFO. Oh, there's also people here commenting on the UFO Twitter. There was a lot of bad behavior, but at the same time, um, why are we waiting for the government to inform us of what we already know is going on? Like, why don't we rip that noodle open and make sure they can't shut the door again? I guess people just aren't angry enough,
No, yeah, corruption just doesn't work that way. There's no way in this, probably in any system, honestly, to keep bad actors from doing the wrong things.
Yeah,
There's just there's just no way to make that happen.
yeah. Oh, Mad Mom left. Oh wow,
Yeah, yeah.
still got another 20 minutes. Unless,
Well, but so I'll have to look up this UFO Twitter, man. I've never heard of that.
UFO Twitter, yeah, it's it's been a thing for a while, as far as I can remember. Yeah, I've been on UFO groups on like Facebook and other places, but you get a, how should I say, a higher caliber of informed people on Twitter than you do in other places where people are just regurgitating bullshit, and a lot of people are just making stuff up. Um, I don't know. I call Twitter the adult, more of the adult social media, if you even call it social.
Well, it almost mimics the way the politics goes there. You're polarized one way or the other.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is, I remember a time, and it was a long time ago, when Twitter wasn't so political. I do, but God, my account is that old. I had it for more than a decade.
Oh man.
Yeah. No, I think every American thinks that, not every American, but a majority of Americans think that Twitter is a place where you come in bullshit left and right politics.
Well, I mean, the truth is, well, because I know some people in business, they use Facebook and some of these places pretty successfully because they concentrate like only on their business. If it's selling cars or whatever it is, and they don't get into the politics. So
Yeah,
they never even see that side of it. And the same thing with the activists and the people that are in politics, they don't see all the other things that go on in Facebook that where all the volume is, honestly, because that's where all the average Joes are buying their stuff or you know all the rest of it. But it's just there's so many different worlds out there. You just have to keep your eyes open.
yeah, basically.
More to life than activism, but that's important too. I mean, you got to stay on your government. That's actually one of the most important things that people don't do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially after COVID, people are more fallible to being told what's right and wrong when they don't know when the hell to step, when the hell to stand their ground. God forbid you say the C word, the V word. You get your social media shut down now.
Yeah, I can see people, cussing on YouTube. It's like, okay, you can't say the C word and all that, like you say, but you could say. I've seen more and more of them cussing and and saying fuck and all the rest of it. So it's like, hey, what happened? I thought that's what we weren't supposed to do. Like,
Exactly, but now
but
you
now
can't
it's
even say.
okay.
Now you can't say the C word. You can't say the V word.
Sudden death, can't talk about that.
Or if you have, or if you know, you know what even worries me more is that if we get another a leak and it doesn't go through a journalist, like a big journalist, like they're just gonna kill your social media.
Yeah, if I mean, if they're really that, uh, what's the word? It's not psychopath. I mean, if they're just that scared of the truth and that scared of the hint of the truth, I mean, there's no stopping them. I mean, if that's where your government's at, they're going to do it to you. But it's just hard to believe it's that bad.
Yeah,
Like we really have to censor the doctors that designed the test or came up with all this or actually discovered the shit. We have to censor them and push CDC bullshit. You know,
yeah,
that's where you're at. Just
yeah. The funny
come
thing
on.
is, I still see people. They're still stuck in that stuff, and I'm like, I kind of like stopped caring about 6 months ago. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't even think about that stuff anymore. Do you? Because
No,
now
I
we have
knew it
like
was bullshit.
monkeypox and stuff.
Yeah, 6 months in, I knew it was bullshit anyway. So I was like, yeah, whatever. But it fits. Hey, people have a short attention span, except apparently when they get fearful, and then they want to you know, hear everything from the government, get the official word. They're all about being on top of that. Maybe that's why they want the official word from the government, like on the UFOs too. They just there's a mass out there that wants to hear from the government. The government's your daddy. They need to hear it from daddy. And of
Yeah.
course, they want the truth, but they're not going to get it. I mean, you're gonna have to have a UFO crash into the White House or the Capitol or something, and then maybe they'll get it.
Yeah.
It'll just be on every TV. It was live. Everybody saw it, and then of course, they're gonna have to pretend and deny. No, it's not what it was. It was one of our TR-3Bs, or just make it up. We crashed some. We crashed one of ours into it. That's all they got. I mean, it's just so pathetic. It's just for the government, that's where they're at. See, you got a really thin line to work with now because your shit is so weak and your propaganda is so bad that that's where you're at. Nobody believes your crap,
I hope to God we get
and
there.
and you're like one incident away from it just all blowing away, and everybody going, you know what? Fuck you, man. We're done with this.
Like, what is this Biden babbling Biden? Just his classified documents. Like when he talks shit on Trumpet. Like I'm not a lefty, I'm not a righty, but I think it's funny that both of them got busted with classified documents. That's
Oh yeah, they're
hilarious.
they're dancing around now. Well, Obama, they said early on he'd had three 18-wheeler loads of documents taken out of there. Nobody got on his ass. So what's the
Did
deal?
he? Did he? He had a whole bunch
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Wow.
That story's out there. It's old now, but it's like, so you just thought, well, heck, okay, hey, that's the new standard, right? You could just take your stuff with you when you go. But no, if you're Trump, which
Oh, did I lose you?
okay, it shows it's political, and seriously doubt anything's gonna happen to Biden. They're already dancing around and getting all stupid.
Oh, I know. Yeah, they're making a paparazzi out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's different this time. Well, of course it is. Yeah, it's one of your guys. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Biden's got a real problem because I mean he's got a huge spike in wealth in like the last 20 years or so that you really can't explain by the job that he had.
Yeah.
It just don't add up. Now, if he's the big guy getting his 10% cut, Well, then that would explain a lot. Well, of course he's doing good. He's the big guy. But you can't even talk about that.
Yeah. Jesus. Well, we'll see where it goes. I don't know. It doesn't. I don't. It seems like every idiot they get up there just makes me more not care about politics more and more. Each one's worse than the one before.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that way, but it tends to be
Yeah.
when you've I don't know what to call it.
The idiot parade.
No, I mean, you hear all these people saying, "No, well, we got to get back to God and all that," and I'm like, "No, no, man, that's how you got here. You don't. That's not going to get you out. That same old thinking, and it just that's not going to work." But that's what everybody, when they get scared, that's what everybody turns to because they don't know what to do because they're stupid. They need something to cling to, and so, not saying there isn't a God or none of that, but
God will not save your country. He has let many go before.
yeah, he's I don't think he's coming.
If he was going to come, he should have came a long time ago.
That's right.
Yeah, World War II would have been a great. Well, it was a probably good calling card. He didn't come then. We dropped a couple atomic bombs too. He didn't show up.
Well, yeah, you got away with that. You were always taught there has to be suffering. There has to be. I mean, let me put my religious hat on here. It's been a long time. Well, you have to believe blindly. That's first thing, and that's the biggest one right there. If they can get you to give up logic and critical thinking and just believe blindly, well, they got you right. I mean, that's exactly what the government wants. I mean, works perfect.
Yeah. God, where's Mark when we have like a good show? Oh man, kind of wish he was
Yeah,
here.
we need our European update. See how bad things are.
Yeah, because now we have an egg shortage. I wonder what you know. Do you hear about this shit?
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah,
I've
yeah. There's
heard.
some avian flu. They're fucking killing all the birds because they got the bird flu.
Oh, oh, come on, man. No, I did see stories on that. I found it kind of hard to believe, but
And already at my grocery store, they're saying like you only get two things of eggs.
I haven't bought it. I mean, I don't have dogs, so I don't know. But people are telling me they can't find dog food here in town, and I'm like, really? Wow.
Really?
Going to different, yeah, or local grocers like the HEB here or the fucking Walmart. Yeah, the whole aisle of dog food be gone. It's like, well, whatever, man. I mean, this whole supply chain thing is just one more way to rip you off with like fake shortages, managed shortages. Because
Yeah.
how the hell
It
can
seems like ever
how
since yeah. Seems like ever since COVID, nothing's been what do you call it up to par. Even cars. Like I go to Toyota, the Toyota's almost out of cars every time I go there.
yeah, chip shortages. Uh, but hey, did we ever see the beer and wine aisle ever run out of stuff? Never.
Negative.
Never see that happen. So
They didn't run out of cigarettes. They didn't run out of alcohol. They didn't run out of weed. They didn't run out of tobacco. Like
Yeah. All the chains got to operate. You still had all your pizzas and your fucking chicken wings and
Although they
all the
did
rest
run out of tomatoes at the fast food place. I do remember that.
of it.
And they did run out of lettuce recently, which was really bizarre.
Hmm. Yeah, it's just all fake, man. And then you shut down the breadbasket of Europe, the Ukraine. So then what's the smart thing to do? Shut down your other breadbasket, the Netherlands. Makes complete sense, doesn't it?
This
Of,
is
of
whole
course, that's
country.
what we do. If you're smart, of course we do the same thing, right? I mean, it's just, it's
This whole.
beyond bad management.
Well, then they ran out of like baby formula too a few months ago. Like, how do you run out of baby formula?
I think what they got, and you don't hear about it as much as, like that guy that tried to corner the market on insulin and then jacked up the price 10 times. I think they threw him in jail. That's the same thing they do with food. Only since it's not, for some reason, such a big deal, they kind of get away with it. They can give you these shortages of dog food, but whatever, man. Because they know damn near everybody's got a fucking dog these days. And so what do we need to do? We need to jack up the price of dog food to where it's almost like eating. Well, hell, you could damn near buy some cheap beef some days, and you're about the same price.
Well, I bet
But
you
they charge.
egg farmers are rolling in dough right now. Then.
I'm
You
just
hear
not
that,
buying it.
Cletus? We're getting a new Ferrari.
Can I pull
Jack.
the horse trailer with that Lamborghini?
Oh, I thought you would have heard about it. You're in well, you're not exactly in farm country. But
Well, down here, we're in good shape. You know why? Because we're right. Everything comes out of fucking Mexico. There's a giant stream of trucks that come through here, from Mexico. And then we got some, decent farming, and there's a big chicken. Let's see, what is that place? I don't know if it's Tyson or something. They're about 50 miles south of here. They got a big chicken factory down there. And man, don't ever drive by the place because it's just horrible. But I mean, so in our area, I mean, we're doing pretty good. We got oil production down here. We're not like the rest of the country that doesn't want to drill for fucking oil and refine it and all the rest of it. So, I mean, there has been some sort of shortages, but not bad. Not like East Coast and West Coast.
yeah.
And I always remind you, California people, there's all that oil just off the coast there. You
Oh,
can drill for it anytime.
they actually still have oil here. They just don't let them pump it anymore.
Yeah, they won't. It's right there. I mean,
Dude, I live literally next to a refinery, and gas that comes from the refinery is not any cheaper than it would further away from the source, which makes absolutely no fucking sense. Oh yeah,
so what is your price out there? I haven't heard anywhere gas
yeah.
is going
It's back in
south.
four. It's $4 and up.
Oh, well, that's a lot better.
Yeah, I went down to three something a few weeks ago, but now it's back up to four. I think it's going to permanently be there.
Yeah, wow, it's still high, but yeah, it's better than that $7 and $8 y'all were at. And what
And
was
you,
all that about? How did they ever justify that to you guys? What happened?
they said they were going to give us rebates. I got like $800. It was stupid. It
Oh,
didn't
because you got
justify
to
all the
check
money I
yourself
spent in
on.
gasoline. Yeah, they gave us like they gave me $800, but like it doesn't justify all the fucking. You call it the inflation spending bill or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, no way. He burned that up in 1 month.
I burned that up in car repairs. Ridiculous. All right, I guess the time is up. I guess if you guys are listening into this podcast or this stream, you can catch us next week. Hoping to have more people on the show. I guess this week wasn't good for everybody. With that, keep your eyes open and keep on pushing for the truth. And with that, we'll roll out.
See you later.